Alright, hey YouTube, it's Crazy JP here, also known as Crazy 1 JP. Today I'm working on my truck's rear differential. Well, actually I'm working on the axle bearings. But, I saw very limited videos on how to actually do the complete axle bearing replacement. Because my passenger side over here, if I get up from underneath the truck, was spewing grease. You may not be able to see it very well because the lighting kind of sucks on my phone. Oh yeah, you can see it all along there. There's grease all over my rear brakes. They don't work as it is, so having grease on them wasn't very good. Turns out, if you look deep inside, right behind here, right in there, you can see that there's grease all over. I don't think it's going to work with my phone. Oh yeah, there we go. You can see that the grease is coming out. That leads me to believe that it's the axle bearing. Because it's not oil, it's grease. If it was oil, I would have to assume that somehow the oil from the differential is coming all the way out the axle. I don't think that's even possible. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Might be, because obviously the axle shaft has to get all the way through there. So today I'm going to show you guys how to replace the axle seals. This is my first time doing this. So I am in no way whatsoever an expert, but I'm going to start with the passenger side, and it pretty much should be the same thing with the driver's side. So first thing I've done, take tire off, obviously, take off your brake drum, set that all aside. The tools you'll need are, if you have an AutoZone near you, a slide hammer with either this attachment, this is a bearing puller, or this one, which takes the arms off of this and just uses two of them to pull. They're both pretty much the same thing. One uses 3 arms, one uses 2. The next thing you'll need is a bearing and race installer. Brake drum off. You want to go underneath, get a bucket, or I borrowed this from my friend's dad. Now, inside your differential, you'll see all of this crap. You may not know what these are. I'm not going to explain what they are, you can look it up. But to pull off the axle fucking rod, whatever the fuck it's called, I'm not even caring right now about names of things anymore. This specific differential axle setup is a C-clip. If you have one that has a hole on here and you don't have a Bronco II, odds are it was been upgraded. Or if you have a Bronco II and it has a hole in this piece here, this plate, that means you probably have a Dana 35. This is the Dana 28. If you know what the Dana 28 is, you're all good. If you don't, you can look it up in your user manual or your owner's manual, and it'll tell you. This is a Dana 28, which is a C-clip axle. So the first thing to do to get the axle out to actually be able to get to the bearings, you have to pull out a C-clip, which is hiding right in here. To pull that out, you have to pull this bolt out, and then this pin slides out, and then you can push the axle inwards through here, and you can get the C-clip and just pop it off with your finger. It's pretty easy as far as I've seen on everything else. This will be my first time actually doing it, so we will actually see. So the first thing I gotta do is, since this isn't at a very easy angle, I might almost just be able to get away with it. You have to put your vehicle in neutral. Put bricks under your front tires. You do not want your truck falling on top of you. That's quite painful. Alright, now that the vehicle's in neutral, you should be able to move it by hand. But, okay, yeah, you can't grab it like that. Literally just grab it by the drive shaft. Rotate the drive shaft until the pin is easily accessible. Once you pull that pin out, do not, repeat, do not rotate anything, or you will make your life hell. Now, to save you guys some time, I will tell you exactly what size sockets I've used so far in this whole thing. The only thing I've actually used so far is an 19 millimeter to pull off the tires. This is an 8 millimeter wrench, courtesy of Harbor Freight. They didn't give it to me, I paid for it, obviously, because, I'm not that cool. This thing seems like it's going to be a pain. I might actually have to put the truck back in park just to wrench on it. Alright, so I've unscrewed this bolt here, and then the pin slid down. I had to readjust the drive shaft. If you do have to move it, be careful, because if you do the wrong thing, these gears or these gears will fall right out. So what I've done now is I've pulled this out, I've got the pin out. It has a flat side. Make sure you put the flat side towards the gear teeth, or it will not come out. It literally catches. I didn't realize why it wouldn't come out at first. Now, after that, you literally push in on your axle. If you can reach it from underneath your vehicle, you push in, and there will be a little clip that you'll be able to see. It looks like, where did I put it? I already popped it off just to see how easy it was. It was very easy to pop off. It literally just clips on. I just put it back on. You just spin it till you can feel one end or the other, and push. It has a catch on it, and you just kind of spin till you can feel it. You don't want to spin the axle. You want to spin the little piece. I just put it on, and now I can't get it back off. Ah, damn it. Okay, see what I do? In the process of making the video, I make my life harder. I already had the piece off, and I was able to put it back on. I'm going to attempt to prop my phone up. I doubt it's going to work. Nope, it's not going to work. I have no idea what you guys can see right now, but I'm in the process of just finding the back side of that little piece I just put back in. I'm about to say screw it and grab a needle and those pliers, and I'm just going to try to pinch it out. Because it's not hard to get out, it's just you have to push it and it'll literally pop right off. So once you do that, then you can literally pull your axle out, and I will show you that in a moment. Okay, since I'm trying not to make this take forever because I have to actually go pull a trailer in 2 hours, I kind of have to get this thing done pretty quick. So, I'm currently pulling it out with a needle and those pliers. Not recommended, but if you don't really give a shit about your truck, or you're just trying to get this shit done, you know, you can do it. It literally just popped right out. Now, when I pulled it on the pliers, here it is. I believe you can see that. So, now that it's out, I will show you, once it's out, the best thing you can do once you pull the clip out. If you're doing both axles like I am doing, pull them both out right away. Just save yourself the trouble. And then after that, push this pin all the way back in. If it will still go back in. Mine is being stubborn. I'm going to see why. Oh, what you do after to put the pin back in is you push out on your axle. You literally do it with your finger inside. Push up on the pin and just kind of thread the screw in a few turns. That way, nothing will fall apart on you once you pull your axle out. Now that you pull the C-clip out, as you can see, there's a much larger gap behind my axle. Pretty nice. Now I'm going to brace my phone against my tire. I'm hoping you'll be able to see this. Now, an attempt to try to keep my hands a little bit cleaner, because I don't really want to get my hands filthy, I'm going to do a little girly thing. So, when you pull out on your axle shaft, pull straight out, and try to support it so it doesn't rub on the old bearing. Even though you're replacing it, you don't want to wreck it any more than it already is wrecked. Here is the bearing seal, and you should be able to see the bearings inside of there. Mine actually look like they're still in pretty good shape. They're not worn or anything, which I'm quite amazed at the fact, because that seal is leaking and it's grease everywhere. But this is all filthy. I'm assuming this is going to be a pain to pull out. So now we'll get to try out my new little bearing puller. Alright, so here is the puller. I don't really know how I'm going to do this with the phone, so I'm going to have to set the phone down. I'm going to set it up against the tire. I'm hoping you guys can see shit what I'm doing. I'm pretty good at eyeing this up without seeing it. I have it all assembled the way it should be. If you've never used one of these before, well, probably should read up on how to use the slide hammer. This is for people that already know what they're doing with the slide hammer, at least. Now, adjust the little ring to allow the prongs to spread out and grip on the bearing. Make sure to get it all the way in. If you don't, so what I ended up doing was, it was in there like this. I had the bearing piece here, which had this in. I completely destroyed this bearing getting it out. So it was all in there, all sandwiched nice and flat. So I pulled out the seal, stuck the slide hammer in here on the first groove, and just beat the shit out of it. Took me 30 seconds to get it out. I also heated everything up with a torch, though. I took a torch and I just, with this piece in here, I just ran it around and heated it all up. It's still kind of hot. That piece has been out for probably 3 minutes now, though. And then after that, I destroyed the bearing. Make sure you get all of these little pieces out, because if you destroy your bearing to get it out. If you can pull it out in one piece, props to you, bro. Yours has probably been replaced more than once. Get all these little pieces out, because you do not want anything in the very finely machined hole that is where your axle shaft goes. As I can see, there's nothing left in here. After I pulled the pieces out, this all out, then I put the slide hammer on the bearing race. I also probably should have cleaned up my differential cover instead of leaving it where all the rust and everything could fall in it. So before you put everything back together, even though it's not to that part yet, clean everything. You do not want any of this shit, this rust and all this other shit inside your differential. But this applies to the 1980 to 1990 Ford Bronco IIs, and it's also similar to the Rangers. I believe they're identical. Don't quote me on that. I believe they're identical. As long as your axle has not been upgraded. If it's still a Dana 28, you are good. There's a little identifier tag that comes on your axle as long as no one's removed it. I have mine right here. And mine, if yours is exact same, mine says, I'll start from the top to the bottom, A space S604D. And then on the next line it says 373 space 75. That's the ring gear size. I know that much. And there's a space and it says 8804 if I'm reading this correctly. Alright. If you still have that tag, you can look all that up, and there's multiple sheets online that'll tell you what kind of axle you have, what your gear ratios are. I thought I had a 410, but I have a 373 gear ratio, so I have a little less acceleration than I thought I did. I kind of want to put it back to the 410, I think the 410's top speed. I can't remember. If you guys want, you can comment what the right thing is. I'll probably look it up later. But that's how you can tell what your differential is. Alright, this is my Timken. Never even heard of this brand. This is probably all sideways too to you guys. Sorry. I know you're probably craning your necks. If this is all sideways, I might not even upload this. Who knows? I've never heard of this. This is the bearing I got from AutoZone. And we'll go ahead and grab the one I got from Advanced, which is Motor City Bearing and Seals. Neither one of these companies I've heard of. All I know is the Motor City looks like it's a pretty old one, because it's, you know, it looks like it's kind of old. I'm hoping these are the right fucking bearings. Okay, so as previously seen in the video clip that was before this, the bearings did not match. The correct one was the one from Advanced. The one from AutoZone was slightly longer and had an extra seal, was pre-greased, which would have been great if it would have worked, but it didn't. So I ended up making 2 trips, because I went to go to AutoZone originally and get the extra one, and then I realized they were wrong after I installed them. I ended up ripping the whole thing apart. I broke it, brought it back to them, bitched at them, and returned it, got my full refund, then went to Advanced and got the right one. So when it comes to parts, I'd recommend Advanced over AutoZone, because I tend to get the right part more often from Advanced than I do AutoZone, but sometimes AutoZone's the only one that has them. So if you gotta replace your bearings on your Ford Bronco II or your Ranger, go to Advanced to get the right ones. The Motor City bearings were the right ones. The Timkens, whatever the hell they were called, were the wrong ones. But let's get back to whatever the rest of the video is. Okay, I'm back. As you can tell, yes, it's assembled. Sorry I didn't get to show you guys an assembly video. I just put it together in the past 3 minutes. It literally took me 3 minutes to put this together. Besides greasing it. Like when I was actually doing the assembly, it took me 3 minutes. So I'm just going to talk you through what I did. I mean, there wasn't really anything challenging or whatever. All I did is I already put the clip back on. Put the new bearing in, grease the piss out of that motherfucker. Just grease it. Grease the hell. It doesn't matter. You can't put too much grease on it. Unless, of course, you can't see the bearing anymore. Then that might be too much. Then, where the hell did I put it? Put the bearing in the hole. You get a tool like this. This might not be put together right, but that all you need is a big flat tool. A big, huge, solid piece of steel would work. Stick it on the bearing, not here obviously, on the actual bearing, and hit it with a hammer on the end until it goes in as far as it'll go. Okay, so my camera fucked up and ran out of space. Well, my phone ran out of space while I was recording that. After taking the bearing and race installer and pounding the bearing in as far as it'll go, you then carefully slide the axle shaft back into it, making sure to keep it straight and not let it rub on the seal of the bearing. You want to get it centered perfectly all the way through, and then you kind of have to twist it back and forth and possibly wiggle it up and down to get it to slide into the gears inside. Then you go back underneath and unscrew the bolt that holds the little pin in, let it slide down, slide the axle the rest of the way in, put the little clip on, slide the bolt back through, or the pin back through, screw the bolt in all the way, tighten it down if you're done with both sides, or you can just screw it in and go back to the other side, however you want to do it. It's pretty much just reverse of taking it apart. Just put it all back together, put the clip on, slide the pin in, screw the bolt in, and then you're going to want to get a thing of gasket maker, the RTF gasket maker. Specifically, there's one for differentials and transfer cases, I believe it's for. It's like $6 or $7 for a little tiny thing. I don't think it's worth the price, but you gotta have it, otherwise you're just gonna leak fluid all over the place. Put that on, let it thicken up for, or let it sit for 10 minutes after you put it on one side. I put it on the differential because it's easier. Then you stick it up, screw a couple bolts in, just finger tight. Let it sit for another 10 minutes, or I think it's a half an hour or something like that. Read the back of the thing, it'll tell you exactly how to do it. Don't take my word for it, read the back. I did this like 3 months ago. I'm just now getting, or not 3 months ago, like a month ago, and I'm just now getting to editing the video and everything. I'm not even going to edit this clip because I am tired and I want to go to bed. But that is how you do it. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you like the page, or if you like the video, like it, subscribe. I'm always coming up with more Bronco videos and other things. I'm getting more into the habit and getting more used to all of my stuff I have finally, because I've never really made videos before, and now I'm dragging on. So this is the end of the video. If you have any questions, remember, comment below. I will answer you as soon as I can, and y'all have a good day, good night, whatever.